Hello and welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm your host Jeff Cork, joined today by Dan Tack.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello, and Leo Vader.
Dan Leo Vader, what's up? Dame Leo Vader.
Dame Leo Vader, exactly. What are we looking at, guys?
Griftlands.
Griftlands.
Now in early access on Epic Game Store. But me and Tack have both been playing this. We like it a lot.
Yes, we definitely have.
It's a roguelite.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of a roguelike, but yes, there is permanent progression elements. But sometimes with a roguelike, I think people want like actual like stat advantages or something. So it's not like Rogue Legacy. But,
Sure.
But you are making progression, but it's horizontal. Not
Different
vertical.
options.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these quests are generated procedurally.
So we're going to pick one that focuses on negotiation, because I'd like to show that off more than the combat itself. There's two different kinds of combat, with words and with knives.
It's like a Secret of Monkey Island type thing.
Well, we'll probably be finding that out very shortly here.
It's slightly more complicated
Really?
than
So the easiest way for me to package this is if you're familiar with Slay the Spire, there's a lot of DNA from that game in this one.
Ugh.
And if you're not, that's cool too, because there's new stuff as well. So they're going to give me a card here to help my negotiation efforts.
Are you going to try to go good or bad, you know?
That's
Diplomacy or hostility.
Improvise a zero-cost card from my discard pile. So that's the thing. I don't think I have any zero-cost really great cards at this point yet.
Because you're starting from scratch. You're not
Correct.
using your existing save.
And you'll be doing
Right.
even in an existing environment, you're starting from scratch, but you will have unlocks to help you that let you take your decks in different directions.
And once you finish a run by losing, you can take one thing with you. You can
can.
choose from a couple things, like a graft, which is kind of an upgrade that you keep with you.
A graft is sort of like a permanent artifact. It gives you a bonus of some kind.
Sure.
And so we've accepted this quest, which they said the focus was on negotiation. So I'll probably have different options, though. Generally, you'll usually have the choice to talk or fight. Not always. The game is divided into days, which are similar to acts. The act boss is always going to be a fight.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to get out of that because if you lose a negotiation, you don't actually die. So that's a big
Just
difference
like real life.
in the
Social
roguelike. Yeah,
death.
exactly. So it's a lot safer to use words before swords.
Okay.
Ooh, negotiation tutorial. I don't.
No.
Do we want, we don't
No,
want that.
you're the
No.
tutorial.
Yeah.
I am. Okay, so negotiation boils down to two things at the core. You've got green cards and red cards. So red cards are about intimidating and hostility. It's one way to get an argument. And then, of course, green cards are about diplomacy. And then you got purple cards, which are manipulation. They work with both.
So like he's got his arms crossed on that icon there on the right. Is that his like
Yeah,
stance?
That's his personality.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you got personality and you got arguments.
Okay.
And then, so these tell you what he's going to do.
Uh-huh.
He's going to hit me for 4. But this other loop out here, so outside of this thing that I can't really affect, both of us are going to put arguments down. Or we might eventually. The base deck doesn't have a whole lot of that. But the core is just to reduce his composure to 0.
Using logic and reason.
That's right.
Or hostility, yeah.
Ah.
You can build your deck out in both ways, or even a combination of the two. But in general, with your starting amount of cards, it's generally good to go in one direction. So this is going to let me take I can either get green or red. So I'm going to play this red card this turn. I want this one. It's going to buff it up. And then I'm going to attack his argument. He's suspicious, so that hurts my diplomacy damage. So if I do more damage to this than the 4, the rest will spread over to his life total. But he's got 4 armor on it this turn. So, we just want to get that out of the way.
Okay.
It's a hindrance.
Right.
And then we can defend ourselves. I'll end up taking 1. But we have this dominance buff that we put in with that red card, so our red cards are going to deal more damage. And you can stack these things up heavily to make your deck more powerful over the course of a discussion.
I will say it's more complicated than most card games I've gotten into. Just this part specifically, a negotiation. The combat is pretty straightforward, but negotiation took a little time to get the hang of. But now that it
getting the
is,
hang of
I
it.
really enjoy it.
I think it'll take you a little bit to get the hang of it, and especially to determine and understand which direction to take each. Since I have 2 green cards in my hand, so I'm going to take the diplomacy option, and we're going to smack him with that.
So is it structured in such a way that you could go full diplomacy or full intimidation? Like, are there advantages to doing that, or are you kind
absolutely.
of
like there is a way, like later on, once you unlock a bunch of stuff, you'll unlock more cards that let you double dip.
Okay.
Sort of like sack from one to gain the other, and that gets really complicated. That's more advanced. In general, you want to focus in one direction.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely some good synergies there with being a nice guy or a mean guy.
See, this one's really nice for the hostility deck. It'll make me strong, get me more. I'll do more damage each and every turn as long as this thing stacks up. But it is expensive. It costs 3 to play. In general, when you get these screens after every fight and negotiation, you want to take uncommons and rares more often than the commons. But that really depends on which direction you're taking things. And also, you have the option to remove cards from your deck through cash and vent. There's lots of stores. There are more traditional RPG elements in this game than there are in Slay the Spire. Like, you can go back to your home base and you can eat and rest up and drink and all that stuff while you find things.
There are also social mechanics, so depending on how you interact with people, they'll like or dislike you or love or hate you.
Yeah, and those play a big role. Like, if you're, let's say I'm in the bar in a fight, if there's somebody there that likes me, he'll jump in and help me out.
Okay.
That's really handy.
Do you have like a reputation? So like, for instance, that interaction you just had.
You do.
People will know about that now.
So you've got a whole like relationship tree, and it goes from like to love of ranging.
So people won't know everything you do, but certain big moments in the story, of which is the same every time. There are certain key moments that play
So
out.
here's
It'll
my quest,
impact
here's
how
my
people
quest
think of
reward
you.
segment, and I'm gonna upgrade a battle card here because if you lose a battle, you're toast, right?
Okay.
You really want to keep that in mind. Upgrading your battle deck is very important, even though you want to focus on negotiation or diplomacy as opposed to combat. No matter what you focus on, you're gonna have to fight. So that's something you're gonna have to remember.
Which is almost too bad, because I like going full negotiation, but you will die, like Night 2.
And there's a sort of a method, like Night 2. For instance, yes, Night 2, you will fight an assassin.
Spoilers.
Every time. Spoilers. Well, you know, it's fair to say that because that part really annoyed me because I got caught with no health the first time. And
The first time that you rest for the evening, they say you're going to get all your health back. So the second night, you're like, okay, I don't need to buy any health items. I'm just going to go rest. And then you get attacked.
However, that said, the diplomacy can get you a lot of help in those end of day fights by letting you convince somebody else to help you with that boss and make it a lot easier.
Right.
That's especially useful for, like, say, the Act 3 and Act 4 bosses.
If you go into a negotiation where somebody in the bar is your friend because you bought a drink for them or you know them from a previous encounter, they'll pop up and get on your side and just put an argument on your field or theirs.
Oh, cool.
A debuff for them.
So as you can see, over the course of each day, you've got a choice of different quests. It's like a tree of moving around the map. And there are random encounters that you will hit while we're running around the map, too.
Yeah,
Like that right
one.
there. Yeah, look at that.
Expertly shown off.
Partially
Tack.
dug grave.
Is that map we just saw? Is that fairly representative of the world that you interact with, or that's
currently in the current alpha? That's the only place we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So I took the option to not take the one use card, and I took a ability to upgrade max resolve points. That's my HP for negotiation.
Okay.
I upped that permanently by 4, which is pretty nice. That's definitely a buff you want to look for. I find that the one cost consumable cards are really useful, like in a boss fight, but outside of that, you shouldn't be looking for them.
So with the amount of time that you guys have spent with it and like this segment of the game, how long is a run taking you? Have you successhour completed what's available then?
So there's only 4 days in the game currently. And I think that takes, I don't know. The last day was short. I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
For a full one. It really depends on your speed, how much you're reading. Because once you understand how the acts are set up, you can zip through this stuff.
Okay.
There's a story going on, but once you hear it the first time, you know pretty much what's happening.
Yeah.
There's some variance, like each act boss can be different. You know, you won't get the same one every time, but you generally get the gist of things. You can really zip through stuff. Oh, that seems handy.
And you get a sense of like how much of this that's available now, like what percentage of the full game you're looking at?
Well, there are 4 days out of 6 for just Sal.
Okay.
Now there are 2 other characters.
So,
and we have no idea how differently those are going to play from Sal's kit. I would imagine it's probably pretty substantial.
And they're probably not going to have the same story either. I think it's safe to assume.
That is very safe to assume. Oh, look at this. Great. I can rescue a coyote pup for 12 HP. That's really a good idea. Pets are very helpful.
okay.
Even just as another person in the fight to bait out attacks.
Having extra people in your party is super good. Even pets. Not all pets give good buffs, but they fight. They fight well.
So that pet help you during negotiations?
Yes,
somehow?
it will help or hurt me during negotiations.
Yeah.
It's like walking into
Some people might say that dog is ugly.
Right.
So now this is combat. This is
Okay.
different than negotiation, as you can see.
It's really the ultimate negotiation.
The final negotiation.
And then we luckily have the pup with us. You can see the intent of each attack, so I know I'm taking 8 points here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to defend a little bit on that. Let the dog do some work. The dog just buffed himself up. You can hover over anything to see what it does. Everybody's actions are noted. You can look at everybody's buffs. Everything's on the table. So again, you can cut a lot of time off a run once you know everything that everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also in dialogue, it'll highlight certain words that are in-game races or places, and you mouse over them to get an explanation of what they're talking about.
Okay.
So they're good at communicating everything like that.
Yeah,
it's easy to keep up with.
It's really good. You know, this may look really intimidating with all this stuff on the table and all this stuff happening, but they are very good at telling you what everything does, pretty much exactly.
Once they hit
Now-
that white part of their health, they'll panic and run away. But
They-
Tack just obliterated that.
They will
dog
panic
so
and
hard.
run away if they're animals or monsters. Now, a human will try to surrender. Killing the human will have consequences way above and beyond letting them surrender.
They'll be dead.
They'll be dead, and
For
then
example.
all their friends will hate you, and you'll actually gain cards and have repercussions on your health for becoming a murderer.
Ah.
So you can
Guilt, it's called.
you can do what's called a murder run. And
Okay.
there are some artifacts that that facilitate that.
A killing spree.
There's a graft, for instance, that makes it so you get an extra action point every turn, but enemies will not surrender. Period. So that's something to consider. There's lots of considerations to make.
I always negotiate for a better deal
And
when
that-
I'm taking jobs.
And negotiating for a better deal on jobs is really smart for a number of reasons, but I'm not doing it here just to facilitate speed. But doing that will give you a good chance. Maybe you've noticed, Cork, these little pips on the cards when I
Yeah.
play them. When you fill a card with pips after you've played it 5 to 10 times or whatever, it levels up and you can choose an upgrade for that. And those will be different from game to game. There's multiple things that it can go.
Oh, cool.
So we have two options here. These orange ones pop up every couple quests, so I can go help my friend and save them.
Yes.
Generally a good idea. And this one I can go
Some treasure.
get some treasure. And the treasure will give me 3 different tiers, each with varying consequences.
Oh man, you gotta help
So-
your friend, right?
You gotta help your friend.
Normally I would help the friend. How long do you want this video to go? Because if I go to the battlefield and I select option 3, we might get a really tough fight that could kill me.
Do you want to
That
see you
seems
die?
unsatisfying.
If
though.
you do want to see me die, we definitely want to do this and pick the hard option.
Oh,
But I also want to
gosh.
see somebody love you.
Well, let
Okay.
us know in the comments. Wait,
Let us, yeah, let's,
Oh, damn.
wait, we're not live.
Ah.
Seriously, just pick one, I guess.
I saved the guy.
We're saving our friend, okay. That's a good choice, and that's normally what I would do as well. Now we can save him probably with words or battle, depending on the situation. He is very weak.
Convince him to leave.
We can kill him either way. Okay, yeah.
Fight with words.
Yep.
So he does not like the dog. The dog is unruly, so he's actually giving the opponent a buff.
Ah.
Now you can find cute puppers that'll give me a buff too. So, but it's each animal has its own little sort of, and that it works for people too. They all come with something that will affect you in obviously combat, but also in negotiation.
So you're killing your dog?
I am getting rid of that because it's a really nasty buff that's going to keep hitting me for 2
Or you're
every
just
single
saying,
turn.
actually, statistically speaking, these dogs are good.
I basically
Yeah.
well actually.
It's a service animal.
Yeah. So that's out of play now and off the table, which is good.
That is good.
Now I'm attempting to. Oh man, that's nasty.
So that kind of guy with the mustache there, is he a character that you can interact with, or is he one of the other
He is
playable
one of-
characters that you'll see eventually?
Oh, we don't know what playable characters are going to be. There are 2 others, but there are tons of characters in the game that can either love or hate you over the course of a run, and then they will.
Right.
And at the end of each run, you'll actually get points for people loving you. So that's a thing to aspire to. The game actually, there is a way to do the killer run, but I believe, based on my current 8 or so hours of playtime, that it's disincentivized
Yeah.
to be a killer.
But I mean, like the guy on that Swift rebuttal card. Is that a character that you've seen in the game?
Oh no, I've never seen. You're right.
Okay.
That could be. Cork might be onto something here.
Whoa.
That could be a playable character. Oh, Cork! I never even thought of that.
Cork, good job, buddy.
Considering she's on some of the
you.
cards.
Right, exactly.
Oh my good.
Whoa! Ah!
I think we may have that may be the biggest discovery of this.
And also, one of the silhouettes does look like that guy with
Yes.
the eyes sticking out.
So that's the third
Yeah.
one. We just found the 2 other playable characters.
Yep.
Mark it down. Mark it down. That's the story here.
Yep.
Wow. Exclusive.
That's a big exclusive.
Oh boy.
Now he's impatient because the fight has lasted so long. See,
Yeah.
that's kind of a permanent argument there. Invulnerable argument.
It's not good. And he can get stacks of those too, if I recall correctly. Everybody's got their own different negotiation style as well as fighting style. So However, it's pretty easy in general. The best way to play, if you don't know what you're doing, is to do a combination of combat and
hit his
and negotiation. Well, he's at 5.
that exhaustion one up there. I'll do 6 to him right
he's at
now.
5. Yeah.
So how much of this like his conversational strategy is baked into that character? Like if you interacted with that guy in another run, would it basically be the same scenario, or is it
I
vary
think each
from...
character has their own like sort of base stuff, but it changes based on when you fight them and where you fight them in the game.
Okay.
I think to some extent
They definitely shuffle around.
things scale. Yeah.
And there'll be times where you just run into characters you've interacted with in other places. I got this guy fired so I could get another guy a job, and then I
Yeah.
bumped into him at a bar later on.
Yeah, I had one playthrough where I actually just had this complete vendetta against somebody, but I keep letting him go. They kept chasing me down and trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, there was a guy I fought, and then he surrendered because he was super low health, and then later on he tried to rob me as I was passing through, just on my way to another objective, and when he fought me, his health was still super low. So I was able to just take him out super easily.
And there's lots of fun stuff like that over the course of the game. So here's a point in the game where I get to pick who my choice vendor is going to be. I can either pick battle cards or negotiation cards.
Oh boy.
So that's basically the choice here.
Leo, I'll let you take this one.
I'm all negotiation, baby.
All right. Well, we're going to take him then. This is the Priest Endo. So each time you'll have this choice of which one you want to pick. Although it's not always battle cards and negotiation cards. Sometimes it's battle cards and artifacts. There are 3 different of those people that you can select. You'll do a quick quest with them, which is always the same. I think it's always just this fight against... Yep. What you're fighting is different, but...
I like that guy. He's pretty
This
cool.
guy is actually very dangerous. I'm actually surprised he threw this at me.
Yeah, he
This is
gets
actually-
power every time you hit him.
This is actually a lethal combatant. Normally it's just a bunch of dogs, so this is... I think we just got RNG'd. I mean, Endo is very powerful, though, so he should be able to... Wow, okay, this is...
Yeah.
we got this. That's pretty good.
Yeah, when I bumped into this guy the first time, it was easy, like, oh, okay, it's early access, they're going to nerf this guy. He's insane.
This is one of the guys that I fought when I grave robbed one of those battle scenes. Because this guy's actually a killer. I might die here, not intentionally.
I, of course, defeated him with grace and aplomb.
course.
Yeah. So is this like a monster archetype, or is this an individual?
This is an archetype. This is a species, I believe.
Those bleed stacks going.
Yeah. And bleed works pretty interesting in this game. It doesn't get degenerate. They made sure that you can't just stack it up infinitely, like the similar poison mechanic in Slay the Spire. Half the bleed stacks expire every turn, so you can't get really nasty with it.
Oh, nice. You can see that indicator above the dog. There was a skull that he was going to get killed.
Yeah.
If he got attacked, but luckily he didn't.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And winning a fight gave me some resolve. So if you go back and forth on stuff, you can you maintain better.
Right, because you got to fight every once in a while. You know, you try
do.
to use your words, but
We didn't have an option there to negotiate.
So there's not at least in this form of the game, there's not a straight pacifist run that you could take?
no.
No, I mean, since it is a roguelike and they want you to not die, like they do have it, so you must fight. At least the
Yeah.
act bosses and some story fights like that one right there. So now we've unlocked basically this is the store. We can buy and remove cards from our decks here. Very important. Since we sided with this guy, we're going to get a better price.
Okay.
On all of his
But you
stuff.
still have access to the other vendors too, but they're just not.
Yep.
as
They're
great.
gonna
Right.
cost more.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would be interested to see them put in a pacifist run, maybe with one of the other characters or something, just because for me the negotiation is a lot more compelling than the combat right now.
Negotiation's great. And this card right here, note this one. This sucker gets really crazy. This you can build around this thing. It is super good, and you want it.
You want it.
You definitely want that card. It's very powerful.
You want it, Cork.
Okay.
You personally, Cork, want that card.
All
Yeah.
right.
The funny thing is, I don't even have anything good to duplicate with it right now, but I will acquire that over time. Oh, this card.
This
is-
one.
I wish I had the money for it. This is like any combat card that says stun is going to save your life. Against boss fights, stunning is super powerful.
Yeah.
Because I like to negotiate with a bunch of people, so I'm in there with 2 or 3 other companions. And if I use my whole turn just stunning them, it's fine because they'll just beat on them. They won't do their crazy move that's going to do like 1,000,000 damage. So stun is definitely like the most powerful combat mechanic that you can get. As you can see, very expensive and tough to get the cards though.
So those cards are going to rotate out. So when you,
Yeah.
if you do a mission, too late.
I will not
Yeah.
always have the opportunity to come to the market. It will open up at various segments during the game. Treat your pet.
treat
Oh,
your
excellent.
pet.
Yeah, this is really good. You can make your pet better. I can play with him to fully heal him,
Yep.
and I get 10 resolve, or I can increase his health and damage.
Oh boy.
That sounds pretty good to me.
It's a dilemma.
I mean, it's almost no choice at all, really.
I'm trying to make it dramatic, Tack.
I gotcha. I gotcha. All right, so we got that. We got some dog training done.
Everybody speaks some made-up language.
I do. So here we are at the end of Act 1 here. The bartender's under some duress. And we are obviously friends with her. And here's the boss guy. It could have been a different guy, but this is the one. So I've got two options. I can fight the boss right away. You'll know he's a boss by that high threat indicator. We can try to coax him into helping us first, but it looks like he hates me. Yeah.
And he's afraid of Casio.
He's afraid of Casio.
But I always try to because it's worth it.
Having this extra helper in the boss fight will be extreme. And 30, we can do 30.
This guy's kind of the bouncer.
We got
at the bar.
buff from the doggy. She likes the dog.
That's nice.
So we're going to get the menacing air going and hope she doesn't hit that. And then every single turn with that, we will gain a dominance, which makes our red cards do more damage.
Oh, this is a tough one. Their personality is that anytime they do damage that isn't blocked by your composure, aka armor, it is armor for them on all their arguments.
We'll take care of that. We'll take care of this one. I want to protect my doggo.
Yeah.
Got a gish gallop.
That guy's about to say, "Wait a minute, I hate your dog." You know, and you want to have
because that dog is free 2 damage every turn. So that's like it's like a DOT.
It's just barking, and they're like, "All right, you do raise some good points."
Yeah, that is pretty much what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. It's normally not like this. Is your argument?
And I have the advantage of knowing that this is the last negotiation that I'll be doing for today. And I'll get to fill up all my what is it, composure after that? Yeah.
So you're just gonna go all out and be a little reckless.
So you can,
Yeah.
you can. It could take a little more damage and not worry about defending so much.
Fast and loose. Nicely done.
Yeah. I've talked my way out of some pretty rough situations before. Let me tell you. So we got this fight on lock. So this is good. We're gonna have her in the boss fight, and we already have the pupper.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more than I usually have going into this battle.
Yeah, same for sure.
And
So
as far as I know, there are 2 possible day 1 bosses. This guy and another dude that uses sentry robots. This one doesn't use robots, but he does have a lot of cool stuff, as you'll see in a minute. A lot of dangerous stuff. But with my 2 allies, this guy should be cake. Oh, look at that. Oh, jeez. Wow, this deck is coming together. This run, like, this is exactly one of the cards that you wanna use duplicity on, because it lets you get a card from a selection that costs 0, so you always take the expensive one. And it's just like you can get very, very powerful very quickly.
I can't wait to save
Here's an
this
upgrade.
Run to the Cloud on the Epic
Yeah.
Game Store.
Legacy, so we get this one. This one's really nice. This is one of the premium.
These
upgrades for
upgrades
this
are
one.
random.
They are.
randomized from a pool, so
From
you
a
can
pool.
choose between 2 random options.
So they won't always be the same. I won't always have that choice of 2 on that card. All right.
Here we
Time for
go.
the boss, who again we should have no trouble with. Given actually, since I'm at half health, I should have eaten.
Oh yeah, yikes.
But because I have 2 friends, I'm still confident that we should be able to win.
The defense is never nearly enough.
It isn't, but when you got 2 friends that are gonna just like be wailing on
Yeah.
them, we don't want to die because we're 30 something. Should have healed first.
Your friend's healing you.
And healing was available from the and the dog wants to surrender. I can stop that by giving him a little defense.
This boss kind of has like a resting Chewbacca face.
He does. You know, there are very similar Chewies in this game.
Interesting.
They're not Wookiees.
No,
We swear.
definitely not.
They just happen to be smugglers.
Look, we're just fans of sci-fi in general.
There you go. So this is pretty straightforward. Just getting some wounds on him.
Yeah.
The
Expend means it's gone from your deck for this fight.
for the fight, and destroy means it's gone for good.
Which sometimes an upgrade on a card will be, instead of doing 3 damage, it'll do 9 damage, but the first time you play it, it's destroyed and gone forever.
And that can actually be a strategy for your beginner cards. Like, let's say that I had those green. Let's say I'm running a red negotiation deck. When my green cards upgrade, I'll just select them to destroy, and that way they're out of the deck, and I don't have to worry about them. Oh, did he just put a counter thing up? He did, and I didn't notice that. That's great. He put every time he gets hit, he's gonna do damage back
The worst.
for that
Yeah.
turn. And I should not have fought into that, but hey. And there goes our dog's gonna get in serious trouble. Oh,
Bye.
he's gone. That's it.
And
That's it for
is he
Papa.
always gone for good?
Yeah, he's gone now.
Yeah.
I've never had him come back. Anyway, This dude he's charging up his laser. He's gonna do a really big thing, but he'll be
This is where that stun would be super handy.
right,
Right.
because that will cancel his whole like charge up. But he's gonna be with the bleed and everything. He's gonna be dead.
And if you hover over him, it says he
Yeah.
will panic in 3 more damage.
Panic
or
after
whatever.
3 more damage, and since he's gonna take exactly 3 from the bleed,
Uh-huh.
and the smuggler's gonna hit him for, yeah, he's done.
He's done.
And in fact,
Uh-oh.
because I miscalculated things, we killed him instead of being able to surrender because the bleed hit him.
Cool.
Bleeding is dangerous.
Uh-oh.
I won't take too much of a rep. That was an evil man, but I still would have let him live.
Sure.
You know, I'm big about letting everybody surrender, and I think it's the game. Sort of, yeah. See, because I killed him, I get a known thug card, which you can build around.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm starting to get a reputation for violence.
So that's just a negative card in your deck that'll come up when you wish a good card was there.
And it's not negative. There's ways to build around this. It says deal 1 resolve to a random target when you draw a card. So you can actually build your negotiation deck around drawing cards to make this card actually very powerful. If you want to do that.
If you have fewer arguments and they have more,
you
to
basically
increase the chance of it hitting them.
you just
Is that the idea?
You just draw. It's like you put a bunch of brainstorms and stuff like that in there, so you draw a bunch of cards. So this one's really good. You gain 1 action, but you don't get a pet anymore. It's gonna be useful in a lot of situations.
The pet problem solved itself.
Yeah.
In many ways.
But we want pets in later acts,
Yeah.
days. This is perfect. Gain 1 action, but your diplomacy cards deal 50% less. So if you're going to hostility deck, there's basically no disadvantage to this. So. Very powerful. This is a good run. This is a really good start to a run. Besides killing the guy. So now at the end of this day, we have it's time to rest. We'll get a sort of a rundown of what happened.
When you were a kid,
Yeah.
but the Derek took them right out of you and hung them out to dry in the moon.
You're a big thug.
We are becoming that way, yes. But now we'll get a breakdown of everything that happened during the day. People who like me, people who hate me, what the cards I got. It's a nice little overview.
So the pet didn't make the cut.
No,
cut right there.
because the pet. I don't think the pets count. They don't count as like on a personality standard anyway. They don't.
Yeah, I
like,
wonder if you'll run into that guy again, that little pet of yours.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I'm ready to be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen it.
There's a lot of calls and like little fun interactions in this game. All right, that's the end of day 1.
That seems like a good place to call it.
Yeah. Let's call it.
Let's call it. I hope that's interesting for people. I know card games aren't for everyone, but I think some really interesting things are happening in
Yeah.
the genre right now.
Yeah, that negotiation system seems super cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
A neat idea. Well, Tack, thanks for showing that off.
Good to be here.
Yeah. and Leo, thanks for doing Leo stuff.
Of course, $15 on the Epic Games Store for early access.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. Wow. That person was really good at playing that game. Those other people were really good at talking about it, too. If you find yourself saying either of these things, subscribe to Game Informer on YouTube for new episodes of New Gameplay Today every week, covering the hottest new and upcoming releases.